I'm going to share with you guys how I secured my first role as a data analyst within 2 months. Yes, you heard correct, literally 2 months from designing a CV to signing my initial contract. And I'm going to use the analogy of Formula One. Let's say someone who is from being a rookie driver to a Grand Prix winner. So let's start with car design. So it's been well documented this year by Mercedes drivers Lewis Hamilton and George Russell that they are unhappy with their car. They're saying that the car is too bumpy, it lacks flat speed. And I relate this to when I was searching for a job. So I would type in analyst within LinkedIn, and when you do this, multiple analyst roles pop up. Quantitative analyst, business analyst, and compliance analyst. Now, although they are all forms of analysts, these roles all require very different skills. So for example, let's take a quantitative analyst. If you're somebody with strong mathematical and statistical analysis skills, then this is probably a role for you. And if you're someone who wants to work in the finance industry, investment funds, hedge funds, that's something that you're looking at. However, if this is not for you, you're probably thinking, maybe I want to do an analyst role in the public sector or the retail sector. In my case, I enjoy mathematical and statistical analysis, so I was looking at roles such as quantitative analyst and compliance analyst because I knew that I wanted to work in the gaming industry, financial services, or maybe something such as insurance. So let's say now we've got our initial car design and now it's on to practice session. So this is where we're essentially testing out the initial design of the car. So you want to see what the car's initial flat speed is like, its ability to deal with corners, understeer, and all weather conditions. And I kind of relate this to me developing my CV. So I must stress this. Before I secured my role, I had no previous experience as a data analyst. In actual fact, I was doing a career change from being a physiotherapist. So that meant in order for me to stand out to employers, I had to show some transferable skills which would catch their attention. So I was previously a first team physio. I had also led departments within the public sector and within the sporting sector. So I used the example in my CV of sports, right? Let's say that I've done my injury audit in a football season and we've concluded that 30% of our injuries are related to the hamstring. I've done some research and I could see that if we purchase a specific piece of equipment, let's say, that I could probably enhance our programs and reduce our hamstring injury rate by 15%. So the key thing here is being able to communicate this information to different stakeholders. So in terms of the manager, what he actually wants to know is that if I can do this, then he has increased his player availability so he can select his strongest players. And for the chairman, what he's saying is actually I reduced the amount of money that I'm paying to injured players. So here's a key point that I'm trying to make here. What I tried to show within my CV is that I was using actionable insights to inform business decisions. This is how I was able to grab the attention of my future employers. Okay, so practice session is out of the way. It's time for a pit stop. You know, we're 15 laps deep, our tires have started to be a little bit worn and we are light on fuel. So essentially what I'm saying here is that there are specific issues with the car that we need to address. And I kind of relate this to, I noticed that there were specific skills within applications that I needed to learn to become a data analyst. This was Microsoft Excel, SQL, and data visualization tools, applications, should I say, such as PowerBI and Tableau. Now, it's qualifying, right? So this is where I need to put my foot down. I need to show some flat speed and get myself a prime position on the grid in order to give myself the best possible opportunity of being a race winner, okay? And I very much relate this to when I was learning specific skills within applications that I had previously mentioned. I needed to become very competent at Excel, SQL, and data visualizations. But that doesn't mean to say that you need to learn everything. I must stress this again. It's important that you learn skills related to being an analyst within these applications. So let's take Microsoft Excel. I needed to learn from my job that I was applying for VLOOKUPs. I also needed to learn condition statements. So by this, I'm talking about if statements. So this would be if somebody has, let's say, deposited more than £500, then that means that we can do a specific addition or subtraction. I also needed to design reports using pivot tables and pivot charts. reports. When it came to SQL, I'll be totally honest with you. I didn't learn the complex stuff such as unions and inner joins. I learned to do basic queries. That was selecting information from a column and pulling it from a table. So this might have been, in my case, let's say I learned select how many players specifically in Spain who deposited 500 euros or more within a 6-month time period. And again, in terms of visualization tools in Power BI, this is something that I learned the very basics of too. Now it's the Grand Prix. The hard work's been done. It's time to showcase your skills. It's time to make yourself a race winner. And I relate this back to doing my interviews, okay? So essentially, stage 1 of my interview was very much an informal chat with the talent acquisition specialist. This is where they would explain to me the role that I applied for, making sure that I was a good fit for the role and I knew exactly what I was applying for. Stage 2, this is the crunch part now of the interview process. This is very much highly technical, okay? And in my example, which I've kind of spoken about already, I was given a scenario such as, okay, I want you to tell me how many people within Spain who deposited 500 euros or more spent a certain amount of money within a 6-month time period. So in order for me to do this, I had to first and foremost do a basic query in SQL. I then needed to import that information into Excel, use some of the specific functions that I had previously spoken about, and then maybe build a report using like pivot tables and pivot charts. It's important to remember that this was all under time restrictions. The second part of the technical exam was, I guess, kind of testing your IQ. It might be something such as like I had to do, if you like a crossword, something that kind of challenged your problem solving skills. And then it's stage 3. And stage 3 is essentially where I just got to meet the team. It was really just a chance to introduce myself, the team to introduce themselves, and just to make sure that it was a good fit for all involved and that I could easily settle in. So that's it. That's how essentially I went from being a rookie to a Grand Prix winner in the world of data analysis. Hopefully, if you guys enjoyed this content, you will like, subscribe, and follow for related videos that come in the future.